Hey guys, Paul here, and this is another development update for Void Destroyer 2. The past 2 weeks I've been focusing on the so-called fleet screen in Overworld mode, and a bunch of other related things, hopping around to Overworld issues, to also issues related to swapping between the two modes and things like that. The first thing I did actually was in this overworld fleet view. Just to catch up, in overworld we only see our ship, and this confuses a few new players, more than a few actually, judging by the YouTube videos and your comments on the forums, where sometimes players don't think that the fleet follows them. Um, they're like, "Where's my fleet ships? Where's my fleet ships?" I hear that a lot on YouTube. And if you click this button here, show fleet ships, this expands your fleet, and you see your actual ships following you. So this was in the game before. It's just that it usually was something like this, where it was really zoomed out. The background was different. It was the same background as in Overworld mode, and the visuals were the same as in Overworld mode, where it was these outlines. So when we switch here, I think ships are a little more recognizable with their colors. Plus, against this background, it works a little bit better. So that's one thing. Then I cleaned up this ordering of the ships just to kind of get them in closer, and I told the camera to just sort of zoom in closer on these ships, and that still needs to work a little bit of more work, as you can see. Uh, it takes a good amount of time to do that. It's a little bit silly, so I still got some things to work on. Other thing is, when you select the ship, say I select this Taurus, the camera now moves towards it just to give you a better idea that it's selected. And then here, this was just sort of clarified and simplified, where you can separate this from your fleet, this ship. You can tell it to go to the primary hangar, and you also have object details available here. You can look at this ship, its stats, um, info, and things like that. You can also now make this your main ship. You couldn't do this before. You couldn't switch ships, switch your main ship in overworld mode. You had to do it while docked in the hangar. That was about half a week. Half a week's of work. There was a few bugs and issues and things like that cropped up. I spent a bunch of time on. I kind of added to the length of this update. But let's just demonstrate this. Let's just make this our main ship. Now this Anubis is our main ship, and this Hades is following us. We can tell this Taurus to go to the hangar. There it goes. It's going to the primary hangar. So another thing that I did was, when you select a ship, or another ship than yourself in overworld mode, or an object, or an asteroid field. Let's actually turn time compression back on. When you select something else, the camera will now move to it, and time dilation will be automatically turned on. So now I can zoom to it. I can see that it has 3 ships following it. I can see that it has a cargo pod. A lot easier than before. Before, if I turn off this autofocus, before it was kind of like this and not slow, and you couldn't really zoom. You kind of had to do sort of a thing like this or get really close to it. So now with autofocus on and auto slow on, you can easily see what this ship is doing, where it's going, what it is, what escorts it has. Same thing works for bases. I can zoom in on it. I can see that it has a strategic defense platform over there. Another ship, that's my ship. Another base repair platform. So in this way, you can actually traverse the map. Hopefully this will help some players with the issues of, oh, I can't find this, I can't find that on the map. Now, because this automatically focused and automatically slowed, I figured, somebody wouldn't like that, wouldn't appreciate that as much as I would do. So I set it so you can actually have this the toggle auto focus, auto slow, so you can have it just how it was before, where when you select the ship, it doesn't autofocus, it doesn't auto slow, and you actually have a keybind now. If you press the F key, it'll focus on it for you, or if you mouse over, hit the F key, it'll focus on it for you that way. Let me just mute that phone for a little bit. Sorry about that, everybody. It's a live recording. There we go. All right. What else is going on? So we did that. Another thing is when. There we go. Another thing I did when issuing a move command, everything auto time dilates. So actually, let's issue a move command here. Let's zoom in just so you can see a little bit better. Starting of the move command, you can see the ship is slowly moving. So this gives you time to plan your move command. Sorry about that. Actually, had a little keyboard glitch there. This gives you time planning your move command a little better. If enemies were chasing you and things like that, would be a little better. Another thing is auto time slow, or actually time dilation, is now instant versus the 2-second lag between it. So when you hit it, it's just instant. I think that's a little more usable in overworld mode than before. But the deal is, if you get close to a gravity object, time slows down, and this will actually take really long time for you to hit this red marker. So just so you guys know, you can at any time switch back to ship mode, either via this button or shift enter, just like you toggle ship mode. And we're back in ship mode. And another thing fixed is your ships should not horribly collide with each other anymore. I fixed that issue. Formations should be a lot better now with that, and sort of auto formations should be a lot better with that. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up my wife's call. That's who's calling me. I'm gonna talk to her, see if everything's all right. So catch you guys in one moment. He will be instant, but to me, time will pass. Alrighty, so we're back in overworld mode, and another thing that was improved is the zoom in, zoom out. So I'm basically just swiping my mouse twice, sort of twice. So what happens is the zoom out speed, the one click is just very tiny, giving you a good amount of control. It's based on how large this ship is. Now 2 is a little bit more because it retains the first click and it sort of multiplies, and there's a whole formula to it and stuff like that. But basically, it just the more you zoom out, the faster it gets, up until a cap of the maximum speed, which is the distance between like here, which is the max zoom in the ship. So before you just kind of had to like really struggle to zoom out. Now it's a lot more responsive. To give you this sort of easier navigation of overworld mode, where you need to go and things like that. And actually, the same thing is now ship mode. Same exact zoom, just so it's consistent. One little move of the mouse wheel gets you a little further back. A lot more gets you a lot further back. Same thing in overworld mode. So I think it's much improved, more responsive, and things like that. I think it's a really good improvement. It's been asked about a lot. And in Void Destroyer 1, you actually couldn't zoom out that far, maybe up to here in tactical mode, so it wasn't a big a deal. But with overworld mode, the really large zooms, it became quite a more issue. So I'm happy about that. And actually, what I did yesterday was I took the time to update Void Destroyer 1 with the same system, just for whoever might be playing Void Destroyer 1 in the future or right now. Just so the nice zoom is in there also. And it's kind of funny because after I implemented this zoom, I thought of an even better way to do a zoom. So maybe in the future I'll improve it even more. We'll see. Okay, so another big requested item was this sort of persistence. Just stop ourselves there. Persistence in settings. So here, for example, I'm going to set this as group 1. I'm going to set these guys as group 2. I'm doing that via control 3. Control 1, 2, and 3. So now when I press 1, I get these guys selected. I press 2, these guys. 3, these guys. So this gives you just this easier way to manage your fleet in big battles. And this now stays when you switch to overworld mode and you switch back. See, group 1 is already set up, group 2 is already set up, group 3 is already set up. Along with these engagement settings here, weapons hold, and formations. So if I go to formations management, if I clear all the formations, and if I tell my command ship to do a line formation, tell all my ships to get in line, the ships will now remember this. When I go to overworld mode and back to ship mode, ships are now in this line formation. So these items weren't in the game just because of how the different nature of Void Destroyer 1 and Void Destroyer 2. In Void Destroyer 1, you didn't have overworld mode, so you weren't like frequently switching back and forth. So these settings being remembered weren't as important as they are now. And a bunch of players were like, well, you know, I'm trying to use tactical mode, but every time I switch back to it, I have to reset all these things. It's a real pain and things like that. So now the basic things are in, and I'll keep working on these to keep adding these settings in. So it's pretty much, well, maybe not 100% seamless. There are a few things which are a little trickier than others, but quite a lot more seamless than they are now for you guys. Let's see, what else can I think of? Can I think of anything else? Yeah, there's been like other things like bug fixes and tweaks and crash fixes. I can't really think of anything else feature-wise that I did. But you know, there's all kinds of things that, you know, I gave a timeline of a week, spending a week on this, and actually over the weekend I was pretty burned out. I didn't do much. There was a few days where I was just focusing on Steam achievement bugs. There seemed to be some issues there. I just reworked the entire system. There was also issues with some crash bugs that I fixed. So my estimates, kind of when I tell you guys, okay, this week I'll work on this week I'll work on that, are kind of vague, and it probably did take a week, just the stuff that I showed, but the other things added sort of to the 2-week mark. What else, guys? Oh yeah. It's actually reminded me. Another thing I did was this mass selection. This mass selection will now select the largest ship versus the smaller ships. Before, what happened was when you would even mouse over, time dilation, when you would hit mouse over, you would actually see the smallest ship. Excuse me. And this didn't really give you a good information because you actually want to know the biggest ship. That's the ship you want to zoom in on. And then you just want to see its escorts, the smaller ships. So now when you do this sort of mass select, you actually zoom in on the larger ship. Now when you do this mouse over, you'll see the largest ship. Just so then when you select it and you zoom in, you kind of get the idea of what's going on. What else can I think of? Oh, that's about it. So yeah, you know, we did a bunch of work here. Hope you guys get good use out of this. Hope this becomes a lot more usable. Having your fleet show here, having it expanded here, I hope that's a really good improvement. There we go. Still some bugs to work out. Still some polish to do. What else? Yeah. So what's up next? Up next is gonna be capturing ships, and that's gonna be about a week or 2 weeks. It might actually be a little bit longer than that because that depends on art assets. So once I code the behind the scenes system in to capture ships, we're gonna have to add a ship that can actually do it. So most likely for to capture a fighter or a gunship, you'll need another gunship that can do that. To capture corvettes and frigates and larger ships, you'll need a small corvette. So yeah, it's not just going to be me coding. It's also going to be my artist doing the 3D asset, and then me UV mapping that ship to look like this, kind of sort of painting it, and then that sort of joint task of adding it into the game, and you guys testing it, of course. So that's kind of like the goal is a week. It'll probably be a little bit longer to actually get all the stuff in due to the assets. The assets might take another week or two. It kind of depends um, on the variety of factors. Some not in my 100% my control. We'll probably add at least two ships, hopefully more. Hopefully something around four, which means spending a decent chunk of money on the project. But now that money's coming in from your support, it makes that certainly a lot easier. So once again, guys, I really really appreciate your support during early access, and again, not just financially, not just via you paying the fee for the game, and then me being able to use that to buy new ships, buy new assets, buy new bases, but also you guys testing, giving feedback, your ideas, both crazy far out ones that I can't possibly implement, but they're still fun to read. So don't get me wrong, and more manageable ones that I can toss in. Things like that. Really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate you guys telling your friends around about the project, spreading the word. For those who made YouTube videos, that's really, really greatly appreciated. All these kind of things, guys. Really, really appreciate your support. And I hope that pretty soon I'll be making another video showcasing ship capture. After ship capture, most likely I'll work on base capture. Now, I'm not 100% sure whether I'll work on the economy first or base capture first. I'm not really sure. I'll have to see, but base capture is going to be a pretty major change to the game. Um, Hope you guys, stick around and give that a big test when that comes out. Hope you guys are sticking around through early access, coming back every once in a while, checking the game out again. What's new? What's different? All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap up. So once again, thank you very much. Really, really appreciate your support. And yeah, have a great day.